Well, hey, this is Rhonda Simmons, the host of Empowered Heart to Heart. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I tell you, you're not here by accident. There's a reason why you had to tune into our podcast today or watch us on our YouTube channel. By the way, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and share this video because I'm telling you, you will not want to miss today's episode. Make sure you also subscribe and click the notification button so that you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. And let me tell you, I'm working hard. So videos are coming out often. Podcast episodes are coming out multiple times a week. You want to make sure that you are in the know because things are happening here on Empowered Heart to Heart. Now, if you're looking for us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And our handle is TSEFIORG. That's the short version of the Simmons Empowerment Foundation Incorporated. So make sure you reach out to us on those social media platforms. We'd love to hear from you and how this podcast or video has helped you in some kind of way. Let me tell you, I say this every episode. I'm just going to keep up the trend because this is a good tradition. I have met some of the best people this side of heaven. Yes, I have, from all over the globe, all walks of life, and it's been an incredible journey. I'm so excited. Do you know we're coming up to 2 years having our podcast and YouTube channel? I am super excited. So today is no exception. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest today, and I am thrilled because this is her inaugural podcast interview. She's never been on a podcast before. This is her first time, and she chose to do it with me. Woohoo! I'm so excited to have her. But let me tell you, I'm real particular about the guests that I have on my podcast because I want to present quality interviews with people that you can relate to and that you can be helped by. Because true to our tagline, we bring messages of hope, conversations that heal, and interviews that empower. And so our guest today is no exception to that. She was in an abusive marriage for 16 years with her first husband. And then she married again later on, who she thought was the love of her life. And that didn't work out. You know, there was infidelity going on there. And so she found herself in a place where she had to start over. Maybe that's you today. I know I've been there in my life where there was nothing left to do but start over from scratch. And so today, to continue our Overcomers series, I'm so happy to introduce to you Robyn Hock. Robyn, welcome to the show. So glad to be with you today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You have such a tremendous story. Hats off to you for having the courage to start over and to be an overcomer. But you and I both know that that didn't happen just with the snap of a finger and you woke up that way.
Right. No, it
So,
doesn't happen overnight.
no, no, it doesn't. So, how did you get to that turning point, that moment when you knew something had to change?
Well, first, if I'd like to clarify that my first toxic marriage of 16 years, there was never any physical abuse, but it was a very mentally abusive environment. And I feel like I want to clarify that because of the differentiation, but also because sometimes people don't view mental abuse as abuse, and it's not as talked about, it's not as recognized, it's hidden because it's not visible. Yeah, I wanted to just clarify that. And then I'm sorry, we need to round back to your question again. What was your question?
Well, what led to that turning point where you decided you had to do something different?
Right. So after my second husband, I found out about the affair. I was devastated, crushed. I really felt like that was my rock bottom, and I didn't want to look at the next day. I didn't want to move forward. I didn't want to heal. I didn't want to face what was in front of me. And then I did a lot of journaling and a lot of reading. I believe heavily in journaling and that how therapeutic it can be to get the thoughts out of your head and onto paper. And through the process of journaling, I found a new direction. I was like thinking to myself, where do I want to go from here? Because I had to go somewhere. Um, and the choice was mine.
Wow. That is so powerful. And I love how you ended that. The choice was yours. Um, did you ever, while you were going through all that you went through in your two marriages, did you ever feel like you didn't have a choice?
During my first marriage, I stuck it out for as long as I did because we had children. Um, and I was always brought up that once you get married, you stay married. My mom was divorced and I didn't want to be divorced. So I stayed in that relationship longer than I probably should have. And then one day it just occurred to me, this isn't the example I want to set for my kids of what a healthy relationship looks like. And that's when I realized I had a choice.
Wow, that is so powerful. You know, you're not the first person to share with me how basically your children were your reasons why,
Hmm.
that you got out of the situation. And so, what action steps did you take to change?
Like I said, I did a lot of journaling and a lot of reading. I did talk to a counselor. That was helpful. I talked to a lot of friends. And then as I was moving forward and I was doing all of this journaling, I thought I need to put this into a book. So I wrote a book about it actually, because I just was really impressed upon me that I'm not the only one going through this. If my story can be shared and can help somebody else realize they have a choice, and that in writing that book is when a lot of life change occurred too.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Um, and I've heard so many people talk about the benefits of journaling, and I even bought a new journal. I need to commit to it so I can be like you and just find that healing in my writing. And so, thank you for inspiring us.
Mhm.
Um, what an awesome story! One of the things you put in your bio was that you moved a great distance away to start over. Do you want to
Yes.
talk about that? You don't
I
have to
would love
share
to
where
talk
you
about
moved to.
that.
Yeah, you don't have to share where you moved to, but that whole process.
Yes. So I will share, I did move to North Carolina when I was growing up, a little bit older. My grandparents moved to North Carolina. And when I would visit them here, I fell in love with the state, the sunrises, the sunsets, the beaches. It's just a beautiful state. And I had always had in the back of my mind, one day I want to move to North Carolina, but I didn't know how or when or what that would look like. So then after the affair, part of my healing journey, I was deciding who I want to be, where I want to be, what I want to do. And thought, if I'm going to do it, now's the time. So I moved 500 miles away from my home on my own, to be on my own for the first time in my life, because I had always had, a partner or my children, and I was close to my family, and I moved down here and it was a fresh start. It was the fresh start I needed. And I was just proud of myself for being brave enough to make a move like that.
Wow. Yeah, you should be. You should be very proud of yourself. That is fantastic. Many times people are afraid to leave the familiar. Whether
Hmm.
it's a relationship or a location, they're afraid to leave the familiar and step out into the unknown.
Hmm.
Were you afraid?
I wasn't. I feel like when you know you're on the right path, there's peace that comes with that. And I had peace. I knew I was doing the right thing. I knew this was going to be my fresh start. And even when I moved into my apartment and I was alone for the very first night, it's a funny story. I had two friends and my mom helped me move down here. And as they were leaving, because they were all going to go stay in a hotel, not all my furniture had arrived yet, they said, "Are you going to cry?" And then my other friend, she said, "It's okay if you do." But I didn't. I just felt instantly at home. Like I knew I made the right decision. I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. And so here you are today, And I can tell by that big smile you're thriving now.
Yeah,
Wow, look at that smile. That's amazing. I am so proud that you had the courage to walk away. You know, sometimes our traditions hold us back. You mentioned earlier that you were raised that, once you stay married, you should always stay married no matter what. Um, but that's not always feasible. And I'm not advocating divorce. I've actually been through it myself before, and I don't wish that pain on anybody.
right.
Um, but man, there are just some things you have to walk away from for your own peace of mind and sanity. So,
Mhm.
hats off to you for doing that. And so you said you wrote a book. Is it out yet?
It's not out yet, and it's not even titled yet. I've been working with my editors and my publisher to come up with a name because I felt like that was the most difficult part is coming up with
Mhm.
a title for your book. The writing the book was easy, but the title I wanted some help with that. So it should be out later this year, and I'm really excited about it because the whole purpose in the book is just to encourage women to know no matter where you are in your life, what you're going through, how old you are, there's always a path between where you are and where you want to be. And I just want to encourage women to know that and to take steps towards that. We can have that blessed life that we're looking for. And it's okay to ask for help in that process.
Absolutely. And that's a key point because as women, we may not be physically stronger than men, but we have a strength second to none. And sometimes asking for help is hard to do depending on your personality. It's hard to do and admitting because it's not just about asking for help. That's an admission that you can't do it all,
Right.
and you don't want to be viewed as weak or whatever. But sometimes you just need that help. And kudos to you for getting the help. Something else you mentioned earlier in the interview, you said that at one point you got counseling services.
Hmm.
And just how did that feel, going through counseling? You don't have to divulge anything that you discussed, but just how did that feel having, that counselor to go to?
It was very helpful and much needed. And I always advocate for having somebody to talk to, whether it's a friend, a family member outside of your circle, because talking is therapeutic. It's healing. It's getting it out, having somebody to process with you. Um, so I'm a huge advocate of, getting the help that you need from wherever you can find it and not keeping it all to yourself. You don't have to go through things alone. And so many people are going through so many things that nobody knows about because we're afraid to open up. We're afraid to talk about them. And I just want to always encourage people to know that it's okay to open those doors, to have those conversations.
Absolutely, absolutely. Robin, in thinking about your children, and one of the things you said was that y- there were things that you were facing that you didn't want this to be the example that you set for your children.
Hmm.
How how have your children adapted to the new you?
Oh, yeah. They love the new me. And I don't know that I'm the new me. I'm just a better version of me. We're always improving every day. But they're very happy to have a mom who lives near the beach that they can go visit. They love how happy I am. They love the things that I'm doing for myself. They're proud of me. I'm proud of them. They're both grown children now, too. They're thriving. So I feel like that the example that I'd set was positive.
Well, good, good, good. And you don't look like you have grown children, but that's wonderful. We're all rooting for you. That is fantastic. Um, you know, it's one question I like to ask my guests in this series of overcoming is how did you know when you were healed enough to help someone else?
That's a great question. I feel like it's just part of the journey. I don't know that there's really a standing out moment where I made a decision. I just kind of took things one day at a time. I did my writing, I did my journaling, I, did my reading. And then um, as it evolved, you just kind of know when you know, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
It does. It does. It really does. And so I am super duper excited for you and for your journey. And so now that the book is almost done and almost out, what's the next goal to accomplish for you?
Yeah, so my next goal is I would like to start doing life coaching with people, and just be that encouraging person, help them set goals, walk through their walk with them, that they know they're not alone, um, and that there's always a path forward, and just being a support system for people with life coaching services. So I'm going to start that next. I'm working on my website, um, and yeah.
Wow, that is wonderful, Robin. I'm so proud of you. You know, um, everyone face life struggles. It's just a part of life. But to be able to say that you're stronger today than you were back then, that can't that can only be an amazing feeling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that is great. Well, Robin, I really do appreciate you sharing your story with us today. And I'm looking forward to hearing great things. Folks, be on the lookout for Robin's book. I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and she'll start posting ads and whatever she's got to do to get the word out that she is hitting the scene loud and in charge and proud and everything else. And so I'm super proud of you, Robin. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you'll hang on just a minute, I'll be right back with you, okay?
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, honest to goodness, yet another example of an overcomer. You should be encouraged that no matter what you're facing in your life, overcoming can happen. This can be you. This can be your story. You can make it through whatever you're going through. This is not the end of the world. You're not going to be in this situation forever. In fact, there's a Bible verse that says, to everything there is a season, a time to every purpose under the heaven. No season lasts forever. I don't know where you are on the planet. Where I am, it is deceivingly beautiful outside, but it is extremely cold. It's winter here. But you know what? It's not going to be this way always. Spring is coming. The next season in your life is coming. It's already in the works and you can't stop it. That's the thing. Seasons come and seasons go. No matter how old you get, whether you're here today or not here today, the seasons of life keep going and keep revolving. So don't get stuck where you are. There's hope, there is help, and there is encouragement. So I encourage you today, be strong, be strengthened, be healthy, be happy, but most of all, be empowered. And I'll see you next time on Empowered Heart to Heart.